What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be going over 28 years later, the Bone Temple. So let's get into that. Hi, my name is Leo, and if you guys have time with anything movie, TV show, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. And like I said, today we're talking about 28 years later, the Bone Temple. So without further ado, let's get into the review. I know I'm about a week late to this movie, but at the beginning of the year, it's been kind of difficult for us to get to the movie theaters. So I finally got a chance to go take a look at this movie and watch it. And I'm very excited to give you all my thoughts about this movie. This movie has been being praised quite a bit for being much better than 28 years later, a movie that I wasn't the biggest fan of. It had some good moments, but wasn't exactly what I was expecting out of this movie or out of that movie. So I was very excited to go into this one, knowing that a lot of people were enjoying it a lot more, but I still had my reservations. And I still came in with pretty low expectations because I just didn't know what direction they were going to go with this movie. But before I give you all my thoughts about 28 years later, the Bone Temple, let me know what you guys thought about the movie in the comment section down below. Did you guys enjoy the previous one? Do you guys prefer this one? Do you guys feel like they're kind of equal? Let me know what you guys thought about this movie and all the 28 years, or all the 28 movies in the comment section down below. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my pros. And starting with my pros, I think this movie is visually beautiful and stunning, really great imagery. The directing from Nia DaCosta was absolutely amazing. Cinematography was absolutely amazing. The color palette of this movie was awesome. The colors popped. It was vibrant. All the reds and greens and all these different colors that they added to this movie definitely was popping out of the screen. So visually, I thought this movie was absolutely stunning. We had a bunch of existing and returning characters, especially some that were at the end of the last movie with all the Jimmies, and we're starting to get introduced to them, kind of what their whole deal is. And I thought the Jimmies were a very interesting kind of group of people where it's referencing some sort of pop culture thing in the United Kingdom or something like that. Something I'm not too 100% aware of what it was. Obviously, a lot of people thought that it was kind of referencing more like Power Rangers in the last movie, the way it was kind of shot, even myself. But it is something more towards that pop culture in the United Kingdom, if I remember correctly. But essentially, their characters are kind of like Satanists, where they have Jimmy, played by Jack O'Connell, who does a fantastic job, by the way, who essentially thinks he is the son of the devil. And he is trying to do his bidding by killing people and doing all of his sacrifices and skinnings and all that stuff. So very interesting group of people here. And of course we have Spike, a returning character who was Aaron Taylor Johnson's son from the previous movie. He's returning and being a part of this Jimmy crew, kind of trying to navigate himself through this and see how he can get out, or how he could survive with the crew, and see what he needs to do to kind of stay out of harm's way. And of course, they go through a lot of different things throughout this movie. This movie is very up and down in terms of the intensity and also a lot of the downtime as well. But all the intense moments were absolutely amazing. You had really crazy scenes with the Jimmies and like certain families, and just how brutal and gory and just it can get in this movie. So that was very exciting to see something a little bit different. This movie definitely felt like it wasn't really focusing too much on the infected itself. This was really focusing on the human characters. How far are humans willing to go to do what they think they need to do? So I thought that was very interesting as well. We also obviously have Ralph Fiennes here back as Ian, the doctor, the person of the bones that are in this movie, the Bone Temple essentially. And he's an absolutely amazing returning character as well. He has such weight into this movie, such gravitas, his dialogue, the way he speaks, just his presence was absolutely amazing in the movie. And you had this really great relationship, or great interactions between him and the Alpha. I thought the what they did with the Alpha in this movie was absolutely incredible, very interesting, very different. It just kept the excitement going because you never knew what was going to happen next. So you just had really awesome moments with the Alpha all throughout. You had this really brutal moment with this Alpha, a couple of brutal moments, of course, but there's this one in particular that is just absolutely incredible. And then you have a amazing, awesome needle drop in the movie, where I don't want to spoil it. If you haven't seen the movie, obviously go check it out. It's absolutely amazing. But there's this incredible needle drop with amazing visuals, very epic. It just was absolutely awesome. Put a ginormous smile on my face throughout the entire sequence of that needle drop. And you just had a story that felt a little bit more consistent for me. A story that felt like it was actually going somewhere. And that's exciting to see because it seems like now we're starting to get where they're trying to lead us to. What's the next step of this franchise, which is exciting because the last movie felt like it was two halves or two separate movies. Like you had the beginning movie where it was like a father son element, and then you had this like a second portion where it was just the son, and you had a father or son mother element. This one felt like it was very consistent all the way through. There was a central through line. There was a reason for every single kind of person in this movie to come together by the end of it. But yeah, it was just a much more cohesive movie. Felt like it was directed a lot more better, great pacing, again, great visuals. Imagery was incredible as well. And then you have a ending to this movie that just brings so much enjoyment, so much excitement to me, especially if you are a fan of this franchise, especially if you're a fan of the first movie. You are going to be extremely excited. There's a setup that I feel like is going to be very satisfying by the time we get part 3 of this little trilogy here. But yeah, overall, I just had a great time with this movie. This definitely felt like it was in the right step in the right direction. And it definitely excited me for what's going to happen next. And this is for me 100% a lot better than the previous movie. With that being said, there are still some cons, so let's go ahead and get straight into those. And really, a lot of the cons come from the first half of the movie where it felt very up and down. It felt like all the Jimmy stuff was very interesting. There was a lot of great moments in it, a lot of brutal moments in it, a lot of moments of you don't know what's going to happen. But then you had a lot of downtimes that was kind of very boring, a lot very dialogue heavy. And not to say the dialogue was bad because Jack O'Connell tends to lead the dialogue very good and very intense, but it still left me kind of bored in certain moments. And I was really sitting there thinking, this is not what I expected. Everybody was praising this movie, saying that if you didn't like the last one, you are going to like this one. And if you like the last one, you're going to absolutely love this one. And I was sitting there in the first half, like, I have no idea what movie people watched because this is absolutely boring. It feels exactly like what the first one was kind of giving me. And it was just, in that beginning pacing was just very off, and I felt like it was so up and down where I just, again, at the beginning did feel like they didn't know where it was going, but it all landed by the end of it. But regardless, that first half is a little bit difficult to get through. It still has its great moments, but it's not 100%, all there. I also wish we got a little bit more out of Spike. I think his character was very much put in the back burner. He is kind of like the main leading force of the first movie. But yeah, he's kind of just thrown in the back. Like he has his little moments here and there, his little bits of dialogue, but for the most part, he's kind of just walking around scared, not knowing what to do. The Jimmies are kind of forcing him to do things he doesn't want to do. You get to even to the back half where he's just standing around with the mask on, not saying anything. So for a character that feels like was such an important person in this story, it just seems like they're really not doing anything with him. And I'm not sure if they have a bigger plan for him, but ultimately right now, he just seems like he's just there and everyone else is kind of carrying the movie for him. But overall, this movie started off very slow for me, but it really, really won me over in the back half. And that back half brought it up almost a full star for me in terms of my ranking. So I absolutely loved it. Well, I want to say absolutely loved it, but I did really like it. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. And I'm very, very excited to see what they're going to do next. The 28 franchise is a franchise that I generally enjoyed, especially the first two movies. And this last one was just very, very meh. And this one definitely won me back. And I'm very, very excited to see what they're going to do next. But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about 28 years later, The Bone Temple, in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear all you guys' thoughts about this franchise and this movie. But again, if you guys like talking anything movie, TV show, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. Make sure to like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.